what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel today. Hey, let's go exploring the National Fishing Expo in Cincinnati today and tomorrow, March 1st and March 2nd. We heading in there. I know Jimmy Houston speaking, a few others are going to be speaking. I'm going to spend a couple hours there, and I'm going to head home and then be able to figure out what I got. And hopefully we'll get some cool stuff, cool action. Kind of packed here right now. So I thought I'd go ahead and do the intro now because it is, like I said, packed. So without further ado, let's get on with it. I believe that we're going to go and check out Jimmy Houston first thing on here. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think it might be a few minutes before we check them out. But all right, without further ado, let's get on it.
To be here, I guarantee you. I've had a busy week. I mostly just drove down the highway, but I did go fishing on Monday. Anybody fish this week? Who's fished this week? Well, I need to say a prayer over the rest of y'all. Y'all haven't been fishing. Who fished this week? Who fished this week? You did? How many did you catch? 3 and 7 and 1. You didn't go. You should come go with me. Okay, so y'all caught 10. All right. And how many did you catch?
I only caught 1. Caught
1. Anybody else went fishing this week? Want to brag? Anybody didn't go fishing? Want to lie? You caught 40? You caught 40? I caught 41. I caught 16. I did go fishing Monday. Caught 16 bass. Fishing's been really hard in Oklahoma. But it was 91 degrees Monday. I mean, I've never, ever seen it like that in February. I think it set a record for that day, and I think it got really close to setting a record for a month. I mean, for the month of February, it was amazing. I was fishing in shorts and a t-shirt, and I mean, it was just, it's awesome. And our water temperature came from, I was out there 3 or 4 days before that, it's 46 degrees. I took a TV crew out from Oklahoma City, Channel 9. They got a deal up there called Oklahoma Zone, and they're doing a deal about us on there. They wanted to go out and fish a couple hours and catch a few fish. And so we went and fished 2 hours. I got 2 bites, hooked them both, lost them both, never saw them, you know. Both of them got away. And you know, I was apologizing to them about how bad the fishing was. And then, but just a week later, go out there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and caught 16 between then and dark. And I went in about 4 o'clock and had a sandwich with Chris too, so I didn't even fish all that, whatever, 5 hours between 1 o'clock and dark. But the water temperature went to 61 degrees, 61 degrees. And a lot of those fish got shallow. I caught them on a spinnerbait, and it just changed a lot. And I gotta tell you, we had a lot of 70-degree days in southern Oklahoma in February. And if this is global warming, sign me up. I'm ready for warm days in February. Y'all like some of those here too, wouldn't you? Y'all had a good February. I was here just last Wednesday, as a matter of fact, and opened the Bass Pro Shop store down there. I know several of y'all were there. You told me you were. And they took me out of there pretty early. For those of you that waited in that big long line autograph line they had there. But you still got Roland Martin and Kevin Van Dam. So those are 2 pretty fair sticks right there. That's 2 of the best fishermen ever. I think Roland Martin's the best tournament fisherman there ever was. And I think probably Kevin Van Dam might be the 2nd best tournament fisherman. Pitching this is what pitching looks like right here. Pitching is where you just pitch the bait out. That's what's called pitching, yeah. And it's the easiest thing in the world to learn how to do. And you'll see the pros on television doing this a lot. A lot of the pros, that's what they're into is pitching. And there's a lot of reasons that you're into pitching. You can flip, and when you hear them talk about flipping, that's what flipping looks like right here. Flipping's where you're picking your line up with one hand over here, and you're just flipping the lure. And you usually use this in a distance of about 15 to 18 feet. And it's made for really very, very accurate deals where you're laying the bait right over in a really close spot, like maybe trying to hit a little hole in a lily pads or in grass, or put it right down in a brush pile, or going into something that's just very close to the edge of a boat dock. And flipping is basically a technique that you lose where you're going to flip the bait out there and let it hit where you think the fish is. Things at once. Pitching is like so easy to learn. And it's a great, great technique. You can be more accurate with it. Your bait's going to hit the water a lot better. And of course, casting is simply throwing the lure out there, whether you're throwing it overhanded or underhanded or however way you're throwing it. But you can cast a lot of different ways, and that's just casting out there. But this pitching technique is one that you need to learn. If you throw a spinning reel, it works exactly the same. With pitching, you learn how in like 5 minutes. I mean, it's so easy to learn how to pitch. 2 or 3 things to remember. That's an awful pretty spinnerbait, by the way. It's a nice looking bait. But in pitching, one of the main things to remember is that when you bring your bait in, you're stopping somewhere between this eye on your rod and the reel down here. You don't have it hanging up here somewhere. You don't have it hanging down below. A little loose line in my reel, see if I can get it out of there. But you don't have it hanging below that there. So if you remember that part right there, you're going to bring it between this eye and the reel. You remember that right there? Everything else is going to get real, real easy. Real, real easy. And then once you got this right here, you remember that, then you're simply going to take your bait in your hands. All you're going to do, push your button on your reel, put your rod tip down. Now all casting, all flipping, all pitching is done with your wrist. It's not done with your arm. You're not casting with your arm. Everything's done with your wrist. So you want to have your wrist limber when you're out there fishing. It's not like hitting a tennis ball. Some of you play tennis. You know, you hit a tennis ball, you keep your wrist stiff to hit a tennis ball. Exactly opposite of that. Some of those guys in California might be real good at this. I don't know. Lord, I apologize for that. Is anybody in here from California? Yeah, good. But anyway, you want to get your wrist real limber, everything you do with your wrist. Okay, so remember that. Here's how you're going to learn how to pitch. You're simply going to take your bait in your hand like I've done right here. Put your rod tip down. You're going to simply drop your bait and raise the rod with your wrist. Drop the bait, raise the rod. That's all you've done. You got your bait in your hand. Got your bait between here and here. Bait in your hand, rod tip down, drop the bait, raise the rod. Drop the bait, raise the rod. Drop the bait, raise the rod. That's all there is to it. Now, once you have got the technique down, and I recommend to learn this, just learn how to learn. You know, set you up a target in your living room or in a hallway or somewhere. You don't need to much room at all. Just a short period of distance out there. Set you a target or something up out there to throw your bait at. Something like, I like to use a coffee cup. Put your coffee cup down there. Something you can pitch your bait at. Some of you might want to use the coffee can that comes in, a little bit bigger target, or a minute bucket. Yeah, or number 3 wash tub, I don't care. Just set something out there, it don't matter. But set you a target out there and just practice. And once you've got to get that technique down, and pretty soon you're going to say, you know, Jimmy's right. This is simple, just for learning purposes only. So once you've got it down where you're doing it correctly, you do the exact same thing, except you're not catching it in your hand. You're still bringing your bait, and you just kind of have to, you're training your muscles to do that. So you'll learn how real quickly. So you're bringing your bait still between here and here, and then you're simply doing everything without catching the bait in your hand. So, and once you got that down, now you can flip. Flipping you can do at long distances if you want, but normally you're flipping at about 25, 30 feet, 20 feet. You know, you can flip a lot in the same areas and the same distances that pitch a lot, same distances that you might flip in. But pitching was developed early so you can have a little bit more distance at it, and you can be really, really accurate too. You don't leave that accurate part. How close did that come to you? Close his eyes, protected him, you know. Don't worry, I'm dead accurate with you. More dead than I am accurate with. But I haven't hooked anybody doing a fishing talk in probably 40 years. Really, honestly, that's the truth. I hooked a lady one time down in Abilene, Texas. We were doing what a deal that they used to call Bass Fishing Techniques Institute. got college credit for, paid $200 for it, and they had some of us come in and teach these courses. We'd die like one night a week for 4 weeks, and we go in and they have usually 4 different people go in. And so well, I'd go in one night, somebody else the following Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. And we had them in these big college auditoriums, and sometimes we would have 400 or 500 people show up. Most of them weren't college students; they were just paying for that course. And I had this auditorium, and the aisles kind of went up at an angle, you know, where everybody could see well. And I was throwing a spinnerbait down the middle of an aisle, wind it back in, because I like to do that. You know, I enjoy throwing it out there and winding it back in. Learn to enjoy doing that. If you enjoy doing that, you're going to love fishing. That's pretty much what fishing is. Throwing it out there and winding it back in. You get one on the end of it, that's a bonus. You get some fish, that's an extra deal. That's a bonus. Learn to be happy, have fun, throwing it out there and winding it back in. Anyway, that's what I was doing. I had a little white spinnerbait. I was throwing it out there and winding it back in and talking. And I was looking around the room, and I looked over on the other side of the pretty girl or something over there, and there was a lady about 7 or 8 rows back that was taking notes. I mean, they paid $200 to go to this course, so they were writing down everything you talked about they thought was important. And she was about 7 or 8 rows back, and just as I pitched my bait back there, I looked over at a pretty girl or something. She dropped her pencil, and it rolled out there in the aisle. Well, just as I threw it out there, I wasn't watching. And she reached down to pick it up, just my little spinnerbait come flying out there. And it kindly hooked her in the ear just a little bit. and well, it didn't hook her real badly at first. But I reckon it must have scared her a little bit because she jerked her head. When she did, I set the hook. Now, you go jerking around on the end of my pole, something's going to happen. I guarantee you that. And it's the best thing I had hold of. I don't know how long. I just kept on winding, you know. And I got her wound up at the front. And it was embarrassing. I mean, I got to admit, I was so embarrassed. She was embarrassed too, but I was really embarrassed because I'd never done anything like that. But I think that what embarrassed her most of all was the moment I hooked her. Some old boy out there hollered, talking about catching a hog. That was her husband that hollered out. He's better than him, she wasn't me, I guarantee you. But we took a pair of wire pliers, and you know, that you got wire with, wire pliers. We took a pair of wire pliers and let's kind of, I thought they cut the hook off the end of that there. Just to take, you open your eyes there and you can see it still got the hook on there. But anyway, that one that hooked that lady did too. So we took a pair of wire pliers and we just cut the end of the spinnerbait off and cut right out over here. And didn't hurt her real badly. Ruined a dang good spinnerbait, I didn't like that. But anyway, you know, if that bait was to land in your lap, I'd sit very still. I wouldn't make any sudden movements or anything. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's exactly how you learn how to pitch. It's very simple, very easy to do. Spinning reel, just spinning reel, belt type spinning reel. It's even easier because your line is just falling off that reel. Flip your belt, you know, everything else exactly the same. If you crappie fish with a spinning rod, you're using crappie jigs and stuff. Really, it's a dynamite way to get your crappie jigs out there. You'll be more accurate. Your bait will hit the water better. You have your rod in a good hook setting position. Something bites it as soon as your bait hits the water. So learn how to pitch. It's a real simple, easy thing to learn how to do. How do I set my? You talking about how to set the reel up? Yeah. I open them up all the way. I got them really open. You know, I back off of them, and most of them I get around the show like this. I got to back them off some, but I got them open. So when I push that button, I want that thing to fall really quickly. One of the things that causes backlashes is we have a tendency to tighten our reels down too tight to keep from backlashing. And many people were taught how to throw a casting reel. We're taught to set them up that when you push the button, that thing just barely fell like that. Yeah. Some of y'all probably were taught to throw a casting reel that way. That's incorrect. You need to open that thing up where it falls really fast. Now the reason you do that is that backlashes are caused by jerky motions or trying to throw too hard. But the backlash happens because you tried to overcast that reel. Now if you tighten that reel down, to where that that bait just barely falls down to the bottom like that. When you get ready to make a cast or a pitch or whatever, you're going to have to put a lot more power behind it to get it to go out there. If you've got it open, like I got this right here, it takes very little effort to make that throw. Casting, pitching, either one, doesn't make any difference. And the whole key to really operating the casting reel correctly is when you're fishing with it, you're keeping your thumb constant contact on that reel. So if you want your reel wide open, you want your thumb to be rolling on that spool all the time. You don't take your thumb off of it and put it back on. You don't do that. When you've got your thumb on there, and I got my thumb on there, it's solid down. I'm not going to take my thumb off. When I throw it out there, all I'm going to do is just decrease pressure on that spool where that reel can go out there. And that reel's turning, I'm feeling of it all the time. Now, if you're doing that, if something bad starts to happen, like you start to get a backlash, you stop it. You stop the cast right there. Now, you can't, if you start to have a backlash, and you got your thumb off there, you can't get your thumb down there fast enough. You just cannot do it. You just the ranging from here to my thumb just takes longer than it does for that reel to backlash. So it's too late. But if you got your thumb on that spool as it's turning, and if you got your thumb on there, then you can stop it, you can slow it down, you can let it fly, you can do whatever you want. But you open that reel up, open that reel up. I like a reel that'll move fast because when I'm fishing something out there, once I fish whatever I want to fish, like if I'm fishing spinnerbait, I'm coming by a log, and so I'm going to go by that log and keep that bait wherever I want to keep it in the water column. But I'm going to go through what I consider to be a potential strike zone area. I want to go through that potential strike zone area as slowly as I possibly can. I want to leave my bait in that potential strike zone area a long time. Now, once I clear that area, I want to wind it in real fast and make another throw out there. One of the really simple ways to become a better fisherman is just kind of get in your mind and try as you're out there fishing to increase the amount of time that your bait is in a place where it's got a chance to catch a fish. I call that a potential strike zone area. Now, with live scope and stuff, we're seeing a lot of the fish before we make a cast to them nowadays. And so obviously, you don't just have a potential strike zone area, you have a fish in a potential strike zone area, because you can see the fish there. And so if you make the correct cast and have it the correct distance away from you and everything, you got a great opportunity to catch that fish. If it's a smallmouth fish you're looking at down there, you just get it in this area code and you usually catch that fish. But if it's a largemouth, it's a whole new ballgame. But if you try to increase the percentage of time your bait's where it's got to catch a fish, there's a lot of ways to do that. One of the best ways is to make shorter casts, move closer to your fish. You know, if you've got this boat dock right here, and you got a potential strike zone area at the corner of that boat dock. And bass like to lay in places where two junction areas come together if they're on cover. And so if I'm off here this far away from that, I can pitch my spinnerbait out there, wind it by that potential strike zone area. Once I clear it, go ahead and wind it in, pitch it out there again if I want to make multiple casts, or pitch it over to the corner of another boat dock or whatever. But I've got very little time that my bait is not in a place where it's got a chance to get a bite. Once it clears that, it's got almost no chance to get it. Now, if I move back over here this far away from that fish, I've got the exact same percentage, same spot that I can catch them, maybe 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 inches. But now I've got all this extra water I'm going to have to wind through. My place to catch the fish is exactly the same, but I've decreased my percentages dramatically. If I back off a little bit more, same thing. Just like it's easier in basketball to hit a layup than it is a free throw or three-pointer. As you move further away from the target, your percentages go down. And it definitely does that in fishing. So I try to fish as close to the target as I possibly can. One of the reasons that flipping, and that's what flipping's all about, it's such a good technique, is once you get fish that are locked into bushes or log jams or things where you can know right exactly where you may think the fish can be, and you can drop the bait right down on top of the fish. Once you get that, then it's a matter of putting it in that potential strike zone area. Put it right in that potential strike zone area, let it fall down to the bottom, pick it up, shake it a time or two, don't get a bite, pick it up, move over and throw on the other side of that stump or whatever. Let it go down. So your bait is in a potential strike zone area a real high percentage of the time. And that's why flipping became a really good technique. Many of y'all are using one. Me, I got one on your boat. And $3,500 for the unit, and about another 12 or 15 or 1,800 for the scope. You know, pretty expensive. But they have revolutionized fishing. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I think there's a big part of live scope that's hurt tournament fishing. I think that we've learned a lot about the fish that we never knew before. We've been able to catch a lot of big double-digit bass in some of the lakes in the south that nobody ever caught before. We didn't know where they were. We know where they are now. We go out there and hunt them down and find them and throw a bait over the top of them and catch them.
New canoe, look at that. Nice little tractor. Kobe. Kobe Boater specialty. Maybe kicker up final drive. It's pretty nice. Very nice one. Nice sauce. See. Back. Let's go in. The Cadillac.
We can load you up for that, yeah.
Yeah, I bet. I gotta get through my wife. She's already saying that I already got a boat. I don't need a yak too. But I was like, yeah, but I can't go down the river, Mad River, with my boat. She's like, oh yeah, but you can easily just not fish it. I'm like, no. That's here is the swordmouth. They got all kinds of rotten reels. Swordmouth, tackle, TFO, dang. Same cord. G. Loomis. That's the Dobbins. The Dobbins are more of my. There's a couple of Daiwas here. Looking for some. combos. I have that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. More diamonds, more diamonds, more diamonds. This Fairy series. Something wrong with these?
No way.
I know what I'm doing there. Here, I can get it by a car. I don't know anything. I've been in.
Make sure you guys don't get up.
Didn't get to explore. You know, I mean, but this is fascinating. You see, I just get so fascinated to see how people live. I just noticed something. Take those corks, and put them in a separate bag because the plastic's laid into them.
Louisiana triple threat.
How you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Man, I'm doing what I'm doing.
Talking to people and taking names.
Oh, they were back in the day.
It's like...
My name's Keith.
Let's buy a baitcaster. 22, 25. Look at that. 22. Oh my god, those are sweet. Look at that guy. Spawn killer. There's the mother. Oh man. Here's a vixen. Tiny bones. Ration innovations. Schooner. SP wood. Cool. Buildings right there. How's it going?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. Got a lot of cool stuff over here.
Oh, thank you.
Always.
Crankbaits?
Oh yeah. I'm always looking for dills and stills and drills. That's the craze right now. Ball heads.
The tubes are coming back, I guess.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping to keep them secret a little while longer, but you know.
Yeah.
Hey.
Look at that. Range. Dog. It's crazy. Triton. Triton 150.
I'm in that yard now. I don't like it. I'm with you. I inherited.
It's awful quiet over here.
A little quiet.
A little too quiet.
Yeah, definitely is.
That's all right. I figured they'd start coming in though, with it being close to the quit time. You know. What in the world is going on here?
We're actually pretty good.
A lot of cool baits. Excalibur, Zoom, nice little A-rig, Z-Man,
Yeah, actually next year.
Savage Gear, swim baits. A lot of those guys getting knocked off of there. What in the world? Power slides. See a lot of them just a clearance sale. Clearance sale. Clearance sale. Some more clearance sale. Nothing here. Nothing I can see. Baglies, and there's some red line, and some flies. Damn, that's a big bite. Fried round rubber. Shaky heads and all kinds of shaky heads. Here we go. Squirtorial. There's a rubber. This, I like this and this. Gonna go with those two. And then let's see here. Skirt material. This is that PB&J that I like. And it's more barbs and this one. Do you want to go with that one? Yeah, let's go with that one. One of these right here. And then I'm going to get a couple more here. Maybe that might be all. I don't know yet. Mike Quinlan, Fishing Expo. That's right. All right, everyone, that wraps it up for today. This is the Fishing Expo in Cincinnati, National Fishing Expo. Got to see Jimmy Houston, got to talk to Dean Yoder and a couple other guys. So, well, that's it. I'm gonna head home. It was nice and it was fun chatting. Had some pretty good deals. Make sure you get out here. We'll talk to you later. As always, God bless Thailand. We are out of here. Deuces.